Hello, welcome. This is a Sunday session, so basically I'm going to do deeper consciousness work today, and I was sort of thinking about how to let you know more about the deck, start using it, and I know some of you who watch the channel regularly, part of the soul family. If you feel drawn to watch the channel, you know, regularly, it's because of the fact that our energy resonates. So it means we're sort of in the same soul group. So, you know, I talk to a lot of you, and I know we're all going through a lot of similar things, which is to clear out old karma, accumulated karma. Your accumulated karma is your what you recognize as your pain body, you know, all that uncomfortable stuff that seems to keep wanting to purge out of you periodically, regularly. And it's a very uncomfortable process, feeling all that pain body come up, you know, and it's just where you're clearing all of your accumulated karma from past lives, and karma that you deal with the karma from any karma you create in this life, you actually will deal with in the next life, to be completely honest with you. So you're just basically clearing karma from past lives to get back to the true, clear, you know, channel for spirit that you really are, you know, source consciousness, the I am presence. Now, you don't really have to clear all of this accumulated karma out through the purging. When you get all those uncomfortable feelings come up, the mind as well, the ego, when the ego mind is attacking you and you've got the most negative thought patterns just looping through your mind and you just can't stop them, that is also part of your accumulated karma. So it's the two combined, the pain body, yeah, all the uncomfortable feelings, and it's also the negative mind patterns, as Eckhart Tolle calls them, negative mind loops. Basically all of the thoughts that you have are ego. So consciousness, which is the I am presence, which is your deeper spiritual being. Okay, and that's what we're doing with this deck. We're going, this deck that I've put together, deeper consciousness deck. Yeah, so every card in the deck is designed to help point you into the deeper consciousness that you really are. Okay, so you've got your form, personality, the ego, which is combined of the mind, all of the thoughts in the mind, and the pain body and the physical body. Okay, and then you've got the deeper being, the deeper consciousness that you really are, which is source, you know, and that's what we're here to really realize. And sometimes on a good day you can just feel yourself in your true spiritual being. You can feel the I am presence just radiating through you, you know. And I mean, at first when I started this path, it all happened spontaneously, of course, and it does for all of us. You know, you don't just literally decide one day you're going to do the path. It all happens spontaneously. The guru spirit brings you to the path, but you have moments, what they call samadhi, which is like little moments where all of a sudden the mind stops, the pain body's quiet, and it's like, oh, I feel completely peaceful. You realise I haven't felt like this in a long time. You know, and it's just blissful, isn't it? And I remember it happening to me in my kitchen like 3 years ago, a couple of times, and it would just happen for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. I was like, I couldn't believe it, you know. But it was just confirmation that I was on the right path and I was starting to go deeper and find the deeper spiritual being that I am, the deeper spiritual essence. And that's the deeper consciousness. It's source. It is literally source within you. And you have those little moments. That's the samadhi, if you want to call it that. But over time, you know, the more pain body you're clearing out, the more you're ignoring the negative mind patterns, it all starts to disintegrate and get smaller and smaller. So it becomes much easier to just sense, you know, your I am presence and be that. Some people call it a clear vessel. I mean, I sometimes say that just because I know people relate to that, can relate to that terminology a bit better, but it's just the core being. It's the core being that you are. It's the core, it's I am, it's source, and it's the true vibration. It's the deeper vibration, you know. And you have those moments and those good days where you can really feel you're aligned to that and that you're coming from that place. You know, you're working from that place, you're doing things from that place, you're centered in your true being, the true self, okay? It's the true self. So when I say the true self, I'm talking about your I am presence, your source, okay? So that's the true self. And there's no thoughts, you see. There's no thoughts in the true self, in the I am presence. So all of your thoughts, it's crazy, I know, it's a bit mind-blowing, but all of your thoughts and all of your feelings are really just karmas, accumulated karmas, pain body, ego. It's mad. So the gap starts to get bigger, okay, between your true, deeper consciousness, the true self, and the human identity, the ego, the personality, the form. Now, that is the vibration that you came into this incarnation on. And that is a reflection of probably the energies, the vibrations of the people that you was around growing up, you know. You can feel the vibration so different, can't you? And when something triggers you, something happens to you day to day that winds you up, freaks you out, whatever, that human identity, that ego starts to, you know, really kick up, and it's sort of clawing you back into that lower vibration. You start to over-identify with it because it really feels like who you are, you know, and you can notice your consciousness level drop. And it's harder on those days or in those moments to connect with the true self, the I am presence. So basically, you know, this deck that I put together is just all the messages, that I've been using for the past 3 years, you know, and they're all messages that have helped me and do help me still now. Obviously, over time, they'll probably change as my consciousness gets deeper and deeper. You know, there might be things on these cards that I'll think, oh, you know, I would probably change. But I sort of had to make a call and decide at some point to just go, right, we're doing it. These are the messages, okay? But I think that hopefully they're pretty spot on and hopefully they won't change too much. Who knows? We're only in the present moment, you know. This is the vibration we're on right now. This is the level of ego I've got right now. This is the level of pain body I've got right now. And this is how far I've come into connecting with the true self. You know, we just have to be authentic, don't we? Yeah, that ego identity, the human form, is basically just trying to obstruct you. That's its job. It wants to obstruct you from being the true I am presence, the true self. Source. Okay? Because we're in the matrix, you know, that's what it's all designed to do. Keep us trapped in the samsara loop. Okay? So these cards, we're going to pick, perhaps I should have said at the beginning, we're going to pick, you know, a card for every day this week, because I'm doing this Sunday through Saturday. So we're going to pick 7 cards and just go into them, really, so you can get a feel for the deck, how it can be used. I think the best way to use it is just to pick a card when you feel triggered Or pick one daily card every day and just meditate on that through the day. Reflect on the card, reflect on the message through the day. Or pick a card when you're particularly triggered. Sometimes when you're particularly triggered, you might not remember to do that. But there we go. You might remember. I've done it a couple of times when I've been triggered and it's helped. Okay, so, you know, every card is taking us into the true self. Every card is pointing us to go into the true self and make us turn away from the ego. Okay? Because when you're in the ego, you're out of alignment with source. And when you're out of alignment with source, you are not going to manifest the things that you want. You're also going to keep repeating the same patterns, the same dysfunctional loops, karmic patterns that you've been stuck in. And at this stage in the game, I know you're all about my age or older, you already recognise that through your this lifetime, you've repeated the same problems, the same patterns, whether it's a lot of us to do with relationships, but it could have been to do with other things as well. You know, the tendency to fall back into anxiety, the tendency to fall back into fear, you know, the tendency to feel blocked in relationships. But deep down, you know, you do have a karmic pattern in relationships of being too people-pleasing or self-sacrificing or too submissive, you know, whatever it may be, right? So, or self-sabotaging, you know, actually just sabotaging relationships as soon as they get close. So we've got these patterns, right? And that's why we don't want to over-identify with this ego, because that's where all the patterns are held. That's why we need to keep centering ourselves every day, throughout the day, checking in, am I in the self? Because otherwise we're going to be slipping into the ego and we're going to be likely to basically be replaying out those patterns. Also, you're in the ego vibration. If you're in the ego vibration, what's going to happen? You're going to be attracting ego, right? So if you say, why do I keep attracting negative people? It's just because you're wrongly identified. You're out of alignment with your true source. So everything's a reflection, isn't it, right? So you're slipping into the ego too much. Now, it's fine. I do it all the time. I still do it all the time. I'm honest with you. That's why I say I'm your soul sister, you know, and I'll call you brother or sister, because I know when we contact each other, we're all the same. We're on the same journey here. So we want to it's a gradual process and it takes time, it takes perseverance. So don't beat yourself up. Like I said, I fall into ego a lot. But what happens over time is you start to get more vigilant to it and you notice it when you're slipping into the ego identity, when you're going into the low vibration, and you get more able to pull yourself back into your I am presence, your true alignment, okay? It does get a bit easier, okay? It starts to become natural and it starts to get to a point where you do naturally do it and you don't even really have to make much of an effort to do it. At the time, I totally understand. 3 years ago, I was heavily in the ego most of the time and it was hell. I had constant negative mind activity. I was constantly in a low vibration. It was really difficult when I first started doing readings on this channel. Those of you that were right from the beginning with me, you'll know. You've seen me go through the whole journey. So let's pick 7 cards. These cards are going to point us away from that ego identity into the true self, because once we're in the true self, we're lined up with source. And when you're lined up with source in the true self, you open that portal to all the abundance, all the love, infinity, infinite potential. And you see from that place, that vibration, you can, manifest. You can manifest things instead of having to chase things. that things will just literally be drawn to you from that vibrational place. So we're going to pick a card for every day. I can't count. Oh, dear. Right, this is lovely, right? Okay, so for today, you won't believe what the first message is. Okay, finding yourself, finding your true self is the most worthwhile path. So it is, like I said, it's not an easy journey. And I know some of you do message me sometimes and you say, oh, you know, this is really hard. You know, I feel like it's all triggering again. When it's all triggering up again, you're having a mind attack and you're in the middle of an ego storm, you know. And when that happens, it's really hard to feel and connect with the true spiritual essence. Yeah, it's hard to stay centered in consciousness when all of that stuff is purging and coming up for you. So don't beat yourself up, you know. Just do whatever you can to look after yourself. You know, that's take herbal remedies, have a bath, go out in nature, be with animals, look at pictures, I don't know, look at art, whatever things you can do to soothe yourself, because when you're in that, when you're purging, it's a very, all that dense energy is coming up, all those accumulated karmas are coming up to be released, you know. So just look after yourself. This is a very worthwhile path, because once you go through one of those purges, they naturally come to an end. Sometimes it takes a few hours, sometimes it takes a couple of days, you know, sometimes it takes a few days. Especially if you're facing one of your worst karmic patterns, you might feel like you're purging for a couple of weeks or a month. I did just recently, because I was letting go of an attachment. So it was like it was like I was letting go of my attachment, a lot of my attachment pain body and my inner child. So I was purging really for sort of 6 weeks probably, you know, on and off most of the time. So, you know, but it's worthwhile, because once that purge is finished, you'll notice it and it's like, oh, I suddenly feel clear again. Of course you do, because you haven't got all that dense energy coming up to be released. The pain body starts to subside again. That means your ego mind starts to calm down, because you're not freaking out and you don't feel so low. And then you come back into your centre, so much easier. See? So all of that, you can see how all of that is obstructing you from the true self, because you feel that clarity after you've purged. So it is a really worthwhile path. And sometimes you'll test it and you'll think, I don't know if this is really true. Again, that's just the ego mind. It's trying to keep you stuck in your old karmas, you know. We've got lifetimes of karma here, lifetimes. And Eckhart Tolle says it's got such a momentum. So it doesn't want to loosen its grip on you. Because once it loosens its grip on you, the ego will end up disintegrating eventually, you know. And those old energies, they don't have a brain. They're just illusion. But they do have a certain momentum. So that's why they sort of keep trying to attack you, you know. So, you know, but over time you get better at recognising that it's not you, it's just an illusion. It's your old identity. That's all it is. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's literally just your old patterns that you had from childhood, you know, and the patterns you had from childhood came from past lives, and you just didn't clear them in a past life, so they've resurfaced in this life, and usually around your childhood. But obviously you can pick up other patterns sometimes along the way. But it's nothing to be frightened of, you know. I just want to say that. It's because it's an illusion. It's just an illusion, that's all it is. And you develop these patterns in your mind as a way of coping, you know, but it become dysfunctional, you know, and now you don't need it. So now you can let those things go. Those patterns helped you survive very traumatic and difficult times, but they don't serve you now. And it's just that they've got a momentum, and that's why those patterns don't want to give up. Which is what I mean. So over time, you start to realise that I'm not really being attacked by my ego. It's just actually coming up to be released, you see. So finding your true self is the most worthwhile path. So that's the card for Sunday today. So that's a lovely one to sit with today. It is. It's the most worthwhile path because you're finding your true self. You've got here the card for Monday, don't chase or contact. So if there's somebody you're thinking of contacting, reaching out to because of an attachment problem, you know, whether it's because you love that person or whether it's because you've got an issue with that person and you're feeling triggered by that issue and you just feel like it needs sorting now. All of those feelings are the ego, and that what they're trying to do is they're trying to make you hurry and control, you know. But let's put the ego to one side, let's put the mind to one side, let's come into the true I am presence, let's trust in source, let's allow source to, you know, do the work. By creating space and slowing it all down, you know, you're allowing source to do the work. So it is more wise not to contact people and not to chase situations, because then you're not coming from ego. You're allowing source to do it. Okay, so the next card, so this is for, that's for Monday, this is for Tuesday. Don't let the matrix crack you. Okay, now I put that in because sometimes it can really feel like that. On a bad day, you can just feel like everything's against you. You sort of think, my God, you know, this is going wrong, that's going wrong, you know, this keeps happening in my life again and again and I can't get it to stop. You know, don't let the matrix crack you, okay? Remember, all of this is an illusion. When you go to sleep at night, you're back with source. That's why when you are fast asleep, you are with source and you feel peaceful, because you are merged back into the deepest consciousness when you're asleep. When you're dreaming, you're not in consciousness. Your ego's playing. You're asleep, but your ego's playing, okay? And then as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, boom, you're back in the matrix and the ego wakes straight back up, okay? So if you're suffering with sleep problems, you've just basically got an overactive ego, yeah? And I know what that's like. I used to have a very overactive ego. Let me just have a drink of my lemon. I used to wake up at night a lot. So if that's happening to you, it's a sign that you need to do a lot of consciousness work, okay? Don't worry, I had to do it. You know, watch Eckhart Tolle through the day, morning, lunchtime, bedtime, dinner time. Anytime you've got a spare moment, put on Eckhart Tolle or Muji, or watch something by Ramana Maharishi. This is a book called Be As You Are, and it's got his name, Ramana Maharishi, okay? Any of those gurus, or, you know, I can't say recommend any that I don't know. I have to just stick with the ones I know. Papaji, right? Do it, because those gurus, when you watch them, they are in source, okay? They're in their I am presence, spirit. So even if you're not listening to what they're saying, you're going to feel their vibration. They are the external guru that has been brought to you to bring you back to the internal guru. And the internal guru is your I am presence. That's within you all the time. So the external guru, teacher, they're not teachers, they're gurus. They're the physical manifestation of God. brought to you to bring you back and point you back into the guru within. And eventually you feel the guru within, the I am, and you sense that more easily, and you don't need and rely on the external guru so much, you know. And then obviously eventually you just merge completely back with source, you know, and that's it, complete. You don't really need the guru. So don't let the matrix crack you, okay? You can do this. I know you can. I'm doing it. I've already sort of like killed quite a bit of ego off and pain body off. I've still got quite a lot. But, you know, I'm starting to sense the true self more and more. It's so worth it. The matrix is an illusion designed to crack you. What is this matrix for? Samsara. That's why there's temptations. That's why there's triggers. You have to get in your mastery, and you have to learn to completely shut the door on all of those temptations and triggers. Boom, 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 boom. You know? Because why? Because it's trying to obstruct you from being in the self. Okay? Every time you look at something in the matrix, it's literally designed to make you rise into your ego and go outward. And when you go outward, you're going in the opposite direction of spirit, of source. So you get better in your mastery at recognising what the matrix is trying to do to you. It's trying to trigger you. It's trying to send you back into fear. It's trying to send you back into addiction or desire. No. Shut that door. Don't let the matrix crack you. Right. Now, Wednesday, we've got someone is acting unconsciously. Oh, God. Right. So there may be someone lurking around in your life at the moment who is acting unconsciously, or they tend to act unconscious. Maybe that's why you're taking steps back. It's the best thing you can do. You cannot fix anyone, unfortunately. Everybody's got their own ego. Everybody's got their own vibrational level. Everybody's got their own karmas. See, that's their mission. That's why they're here. You're here for your karmas and your whatever I said. Right? Do you see what I mean? That's the thing, you know? And any feeling of keep wanting to help someone or fix a situation because you know someone's unconscious, it is literally just a vasana that you've got, you know, and a vasana is a desire, you know, and the ego has these desires, these vasanas, because again, it's just another way of distracting you from just healing yourself and being in your true self. That's all it is. It's mad, you know. And I know a lot of them are empaths, and a lot of us have had vasanas, desires for fixing and supporting people. But it was all a mirror. It was all a mirror energetically that we just needed to focus on ourselves, you know. And that becomes more and more obvious the more conscious you become. So if somebody's acting unconsciously, the best thing to do is not try to fix them or support them. You're not turning your back on them. What you're doing is you're creating space. Yeah, you're creating space so that spirit can help them and so that you can honour yourself. Because when you honour yourself, that's the highest spiritual practice. That is God, source, you know, and you then merge in with your true deeper vibration, which is a much higher vibration. When we're too connected to others in attachments, the energy drops, you know, and it's not good. We go into ego and our energy drops. So it is better to just serve yourself, do your responsibilities, do your work from the highest and best, but always from the I am presence, that deeper consciousness, you know, because when someone's acting unconsciously, you'll notice it pulls you into a lower unconscious level. So that's why you want to create that space. Okay, so Thursday, Okay, consciousness is infinite potential. Now, I said that already at the beginning, because it is. Ego, the mind, will always think it's got a better way. It's got a better plan, it's got a better way, it knows best, it can foresee all the fears and all the problems, potentially, you know, but can it? Can it? That's the thing. No, it can't. It can't. And so that's why we have to ignore the ego minds, come back into the true self where there are no thoughts, and cultivate our faith in Source. Because Source has already got the predestined plan for you. Source is the true abundance. Source is the highest vibration. So if you keep getting pulled by your mind, telling you you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be worrying about this, you should be worrying about that, it's just trying to keep you trapped in an old pattern of a low vibration. It doesn't want you to access the infinite potential of Source. So consciousness is infinite potential. Friday, whizzing through now, accept what Spirit wants for you. Now that's quite a hard one. That is really quite a hard one, because sometimes something's not working out in our life. I've had this recently. And it's the pits, really. It's the absolute pits, isn't it? From the ego perspective. It doesn't seem fair, it doesn't seem right, you know, but Spirit knows exactly what experiences you need in this lifetime to help you transcend the ego and become your true self. That's all Spirit wants. All, you know, because consciousness is Spirit, okay? I just use the words interchangeably. Source, our God, our Source, knows all it wants is for everybody to create, yeah, be creative, but from the consciousness vibration, yeah, not this fake ego, false self thing, which is a lower vibration. So, you know, that's what Spirit wants. It wants us to manifest things and create things, but from consciousness. So if Spirit senses that you are dropping into a lower frequency, an egoic frequency, right, Spirit will try to stop you, okay? Spirit will try to stop you. It's quite a biggie, and it takes quite a long time to understand this. So, accept what Spirit wants for you, because Spirit knows if you have been dropping into a low frequency, if you've been pulling yourself out of alignment and you know you're not really in your deeper consciousness, Spirit will have been blocking you, okay? Spirit's trying to pull you back into your true alignment. So that's why it will shut certain doors on you, because it will sort of perceive it's not really your alignment and it's not connecting you with the true Source, okay? So, you know, it is hard, and you have to go into a deep level of acceptance and surrender, and I've worked a lot with acceptance and surrender the last 3 years, a lot. Because my ego kept wanting things. Oh, I was trying to bash those doors down, you know, like, just bloody give me what I want. It was killing me, you know, it was absolutely killing me. My ego was just so fixed on what it thought it wanted, but I couldn't see that it was dropping my vibration, and I was out of alignment. It took me ages to see that. So accept what Spirit wants for you, because Spirit does know for your highest and best. You know, because once you establish yourself in Source, in the true vibration, then you will receive, because Source is the true abundance. And you will receive all the things, you know. Okay, and then we'll go to Saturday, last cards. No matter how many times you fall, you can recenter yourself. That was, that was the last, no, actually, funnily enough, it wasn't the last card. This was the last card. Finding yourself is the most worthwhile path, right? That, when I made the deck, that was the last card. And this was nearly one of the very last cards as well, okay? No matter how many times you fall, you can recenter yourself. I didn't really know the wording, whether fall is the right word, but I think you get the picture of it. It's just basically, obviously, we fall into ego all of the time, and it is like a fall because it is a lower vibration. It's a very surface vibration. It's very shallow. It's materialistic. It's me, self-serving, false identity. It's a projection. It's full of mind patterns based on fear and lack. And it's very grasping. It's a real urgent. It's very hard to ignore it sometimes when it comes up, because it's got a real sense of urgency, and it will make you do stupid things. Like spend your money on things you shouldn't have spent your money on, rushing decisions, being very impulsive, and going into the wrong energies, coming into contact with people with a low vibration. So that's the ego. And we do fall into it a lot. And look, I own it. I do it sometimes now, still. I do, but doesn't matter how many times that you do it. It's fine. You just recognise it. You observe it. You don't beat yourself up, because that's super ego. That's a whole nother layer of ego that you don't need. So you don't beat yourself up. You don't feel ashamed. You don't feel guilty. You just say to yourself, oh, I did it again. And then you just center yourself back in consciousness. Go back into your deeper consciousness, as opposed to that surface level self. You pull yourself deeper again. Center. Yeah. Now, it's through the amount of times that you do that you're coming into your mastery. Because you're getting, each time you're doing it, you're getting more and more vigilant and more awareness. You're getting more and more higher state of consciousness. The more times you recognise you've slipped into the egoic self, the false self, and the old patterns, and then you pull yourself back into centre. Yeah? So it's actually, you should never beat yourself up. You should actually praise yourself. Oh my God, look what you're doing. It's amazing. You are breaking karmic patterns. You're doing it, and we're all doing it together. That's what the deck's about, and I hope it's been interesting for you. Hopefully it's given you some, I don't know, you just enjoy it for this week. If you want to buy the deck, it's £20, 20 English pounds, including delivery in the UK at the moment. Okay, and if you live abroad, it's an extra £3 delivery at the moment. I say at the moment because they just recently put the charges up of postage. So I can only say at the moment, but I don't want to change it at all. I'm not planning on changing. So if you live overseas, anywhere in the world at the moment, it's £3, extra £3 delivery. So it's really not very much. I know it's only a small deck and it is £20, which seems like quite a lot, but that does include your delivery, and it also includes the fact that obviously I had to pay out for the deck myself because it's not been published by a publisher, you see. So I hope you understand. But yeah, I'm sending you lots of love. Thanks so much for supporting the channel and just being part of my soul family, really, because I know you are, and I've got so much faith in all of you. Sending you a lovely Sunday and a lovely week. We're still in the light of the full moon that we just had, but hopefully this full moon in Libras really served you to help you illuminate what you want to release, because it is a real moon of balance. So hopefully this full moon's really helped us to achieve more balance. Okay, and balance is the vibration of source. So it's lovely. Peace.